Welcome back to how I would direct Epic the Musical. We're going to move into the first part of the Cyclops Saga with Polyphemus and Survive. Personally, I would make the choice to combine the two. And starting off, we with big changes to the stage, different from this layout, is the turntables will be shifted around where the rock formations are facing to give the cave environment. And as the song opens, you have the sheep, and so my idea is that you would have the actual sheep getting shot as a silhouette piece back here, and an arrow hitting it and it collapsing, and then the rest of the stage would be covered in either bits of wool or there'd be like two fake sheep over here, or one or two fake sheep over here, to give that idea. And if you were to separate Survive and Polyphemus, you would remove all the sheep after the lights black out and the stage crew would take them away. So, opening with that first sheep getting shot, you would have them Odysseus, Polites, Eurylochus, and probably 6 to 8 crew members coming in. They would fill out the stage. And personally, when it comes to Polyphemus's entrance, I really love Merxie's design, where it's the spiked head and the crab shell head, mouth and everything. It reminds me a lot of the core from Amphibia, and I'm a very big fan of that. And so I'd want to do something similar. So the idea, if you wanted to, for a larger budget performance, you could do a massive structure, like an animatronic even maybe. But to keep things easy, keep things simple, it would just be a hollow eye with a bunch of LEDs sprinkling the inside. And so this there would not be no covering in the front, and you could actually put something in, which would later come up and survive. So once the exchange between Odysseus and Polyphemus happens, and he starts attacking people, my idea is that lights will flash red, and every time they flash, a crew member is knocked down and killed. And the idea would be a couple of crew members would die before Polites' death, and I'd like it to be kind of held there for about 5 seconds of just silence. No movement, no nothing, and then immediately jump back into Survive. And from there, Odysseus can take some shallow steps toward Polites, and as more and more people go down, Polyphemus finally collapses, lights go black. As always, thanks for watching. Welcome back to how I would direct Epic the Musical. This is part 2 of the Cyclops Saga, focusing on Remember Them. So I sadly had to rush through my last bit on Survive and Polyphemus, but I just want to move on and move to one of my favorite songs, probably my second favorite song in the Cyclops Saga, as much of it is more story progression based. Starting off, as it opens, you have the build up with Odysseus just standing, staring at Polites' corpse. And the idea is after the flashing lights from Survive would occur, where it's that red flash, flash, flash as each crew member goes down, the lights around would stay red for Remember Them. And as it continues, slowly you build up to the point where they want to use Polyphemus's club to attack him. And basically the idea is you'd have a large plank back here that each member of the crew remaining can go grab, lift up, and carry over to the eye, which, as I stated in my previous video, would be hollow. And so you could have them actually bash it into the eye. And the idea would be the LEDs inside being just cut immediately after to show him being blinded. And from there, the crew would run off stage right, while Odysseus and Eurylochus stand off to the side over here. And at this point, this turntable would switch back to the boat head as they run for the boats. And the idea would be this half of the stage would be a red atmosphere, and over here would be more natural lighting to show they are outside of the cave. And once it gets to the point where Polyphemus cries out to the other Cyclops, you'd have between 1 and 5 eyes just blanketed across the silhouette panel back here, staring down, and you have that exchange between Polyphemus and the other Cyclops, while Eurylochus and Odysseus argue back and forth. And after Cyclops cut off Polyphemus, the light is taken off stage left, this panel goes dark, and once Odysseus and Eurylochus run for the boat, Athena will be waiting for them, and this is where we'll jump into my personal favorite song of the Cyclops Saga, My Goodbye, and that will happen next time. Please comment down below any ideas you have, and as always, thanks for watching. Welcome back to How I Would Direct Epic the Musical. We wrapped up with Remember Them, with Odysseus and Athena arguing about whether or not to spare or kill Polyphemus, and we're going to jump into my personal favorite song from the end of the saga, My Goodbye. So the lights would cut out, turntables would switch back to rock formations, Eurylochus would leave stage, and Athena and Odysseus would be opposite from one another, Athena on stage right and Odysseus on stage left. From there, once the song really began, they would cross and meet each other at center stage right and left respectively, and they would have their conflict. During this argument, with the silhouette panels, there would be an owl fighting a soldier. I believe this was Merxie's animation or animatic, but someone made a really amazing animatic where you got to see visually Odysseus fight Athena, and that was very, very cool to witness, and I'd like to kind of replicate that with the silhouette panels. And at the end of their argument, once Athena and Odysseus kind of conclude, it would show Athena and Odysseus in a pre-recorded kind of projection onto the silhouette panel of them walking away from one another, Athena going this direction and Odysseus going that direction. But during their fight, Athena's colors over here, she would have lighting of more of a blue background, and Odysseus would have more of a red background when they really got into their bantering back and forth. So when Athena really started calling him out and Odysseus jumped in to defend himself, the lights would switch back and forth on their sides. And once they kind of each had their primary argument and would start fighting one another like continuously, the lighting would change to purple to kind of bring the conflict together to center stage. At the end of the song, once they say their final goodbye, or Athena says her final goodbye, Athena will walk off stage right, Odysseus stage left. Before the song ends though, lights cut out, spotlight on each of the actors. They both slightly turn to look at one another, immediately lock eyes, twist again, and walk off stage. And that is how I would direct My Goodbye in a very short manner. Please comment down below any suggestions you might have, and as always, thanks for watching. Welcome back to How I Would Direct Epic the Musical. Now that I've wrapped up the Cyclops Saga, I kind of wanted to go over a couple of things. I do want to take a quick pause. I do want to create a video purely of your guys' comments, so the more you guys comment and give suggestions for future songs before I jump into the Ocean Saga, that would be great. If I can get enough comments by within the next couple days, preferably, I'll work on a video of your guys' suggestions. A couple of you have already given me some great ideas, especially for future songs, and otherwise I'll just jump into the Ocean Saga, or I might create something new. As always, please comment down below any suggestions you might have for any of the songs, especially previous ones and or ones coming up in the Ocean Saga. And thanks for watching.